Let's talk about commitments today and what that really means. And a commitment could be anything. You could make a commitment to a friend, or you can, be committed to your job. You could be committed to your spouse, your children. So this is something that's really important because it can affect us in all aspects of life. Numbers chapter 30, verse 2. It says, if a man vows a vow to the Lord or swears an oath to bind himself by a pledge, he shall not break his word. He shall do according to all that proceeds out of his mouth. And so this maybe sound, really serious if they vow a vow to the Lord or swear an oath and bind himself by a pledge. But this really just means if you say that you are going to do something, do it. So I always like to look up meaning of words, even if I already know what it means. I know what vows are, but I like to look up the definition anyways. And I looked it up, and it says a solemn promise. And some other words, some synonyms for the word vows can be oath, pledge, bond, or covenant. One thing that I value for myself and, my own personal relationships with other people are, sticking to my word. And it's really having, if I say that I'm going to do something, then I'll do it. Because at the end of the day, that conveys a sense of trust. And we'll talk about that in a second. One thing I do want to let you know is that God always keeps his promises. So if God promises something, especially in his word is filled with God, the promises of God, he will keep it and it will come true. And so the main vow, not the main vow, but the one vow that comes to mind easily are marriage vows. Marriage vows are an extremely sacred commitment. My relationship with my husband is the one relationship that I try to maintain number one in my life. It'd be, my relationship with God, of course, is first, but I just mean talking about humans. He is the one that I really focus and make sure that, we are good and we're okay, because marriage vows are extremely sacred. Though one may be overpowered, two can defend themselves. A cord of 3 strands is not quickly broken. Ecclesiastes Chapter 4, verse 12. And one thing that I really like about this verse is talking about a cord of 3 strands and the strength of that. So in a marriage, you have, the husband and the wife, and then the third strand is God. And those 3 components together is not easily broken. When you and your spouse have God in the middle of your marriage, it strengthens it. And so the number 3, even if you think about the number 3, the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit, it just shows strength. And so that's vital. Now notice it doesn't say a cord of 4 strands. So marriage is between a man and a woman, nobody else, nothing else. Do not let another person, whether that is a friend or a parent, in any way, shape, or form, enter into your marriage, enter into the marriage bed, because that's when you throw things off, and that's giving Satan a foothold in your marriage to work in your marriage. Satan operates through division, and if he can get any way to break those 3 cords of marriage, husband, wife, and God, he will. So be sure to keep that relationship sacred. No one else is to be added, and no one else is to be removed, meaning God. Leave the whole equation at it as it is, husband, wife, and God. Another vow is a personal commitment. So if I tell someone, or for example, I get a job and, they expect you to call out sick when you're sick. And I kind of take that as a vow. You use your sick time when you're sick. So what if one day it's really nice out and you want to go to the beach? In my mind, that's breaking that vow. And maybe you're thinking, well, you're taking this way too seriously. But at the end of the day, if you're not sick, but you're calling out sick to do something else when you could have gone to work, that's lying, that's breaking your vow. And so God is really interested in the small everyday decisions like that we make in our lives. We may think it's insignificant, but God doesn't. And he sees all. Mistakes happen, of course. I'm not perfect. Please, I know I'm not perfect. But we should always try our best to stick what we plan to do. Another factor is learn when to say no. Turning down plans with a friend doesn't mean that you're a bad friend. Be mindful of what you're saying no to. You don't have to say yes to everything, because first of all, we can't do it all. But second of all, saying no allows you to focus on the things that really do matter and the things that really are important. But on the flip side, don't always say no and try to isolate yourself either. And when you do say yes, follow through. Of course, like I said before, things happen, things come up. That's understandable. Sticking to your word is showing the other person that you can be trusted. And trust is something that is not given, it is earned. And I try to be a trustworthy and a loyal person. So, for example, if somebody tells you something and you vow, you say, okay, I won't say anything, but then you tell your mom or you tell your whoever, your friend, then that's breaking that person's trust. And so we have to just be really mindful and think about those little everyday things that maybe, I didn't used to think about in the past, but now I do. And trust and loyalty are two huge qualities that I try to really adhere to. A person that sticks to their word is a trustworthy person. So I hope you found this video helpful. Thank you so much for watching, and I appreciate each and every one of you. I really do mean that. I will talk to you next time. Bye.